What's up, boxing fans? It's Rodney De La Paz. Just wanted to talk about this fight coming up tomorrow. I know it's very late. It is Friday, but I had to do some research and I saw some fights against Andre Berto and Collazo, as well as another fight. I even forgot his other opponent's name, but I saw finally some Berto fights, and I actually was pretty impressed. I do have some, some technical, um, insights to talk about with Berto. Firstly, let's talk about some of the strengths that I noticed about him. He fights with a lot of heart. I think he's a pretty young fighter, so he's got that that eye of the tiger to him. So he's very very committed fighter. He's not afraid to throw very heavy and committed punches. Even if he misses, he doesn't even care. He'll throw bombs all night, and he proved that against Collazo. Now, I think against that fight with Collazo, he escaped by the skin of his teeth. I was a little bit, questioning that decision because I honestly thought that Collazo had outworked him all the entire 12 rounds. But he did show throughout the entire 12 that he was still vicious. He was still very, very fast, and he threw very, haymakers, pretty much. And I guess, either it be, the judges may have given, him a mercy win or a mercy decision because he's the undefeated fighter. And of course, my conspiracy theory is that, people still wanted to see him over Collazo. I don't know. But anyway, regardless, he still proved to be very, very deadly throughout the entire 12 rounds. So, for one, I give him a lot of heart. Secondly, the man can actually box. He's very, very good. And one thing I noticed, his footwork is very nice. He actually does remind me of a cross between, a Sugar Shane Mosley and Floyd Mayweather Jr. Now, again, he reminds me of Mayweather because of his wide stance, and he actually does have a kind of a shell defense as well, very wide. So it is very Mayweather-esque, okay. But what he doesn't have that Mayweather has is the patience in his game, like the strategy, like the mental game, as well as the counter punching. Berto has a very good counter punch, but he's not a counter puncher first, like Mayweather is. Mayweather is a true, like, pure counter puncher, whereas Berto looks like he has always been an offensive fighter that had learned to become a counter puncher. But he reminds me of Sugar Shane Mosley in the sense that he's not afraid to get hit. He's not afraid to fight on the inside. But one thing that I noticed was that he starts going on like autopilot, which kind of concerns me about that, because when a fighter goes into autopilot, they're not really thinking anymore. They're kind of just rolling with the punches, just kind of feeling it out, and that kind of concerns me because if he fights a fighter like Mayweather eventually, if this ever happens, Berto will probably lose because he leaves everything out in the ring, and Mayweather, he is a tactician, a strategist, and he'll always leave things, he'll always leave reserve, at 25%, to strategy. And I think Berto can get in trouble against a fighter like Mayweather because Berto shows all of his cards, whereas Mayweather doesn't. So another strength. I think he's got every shot in the book. Berto can fight with both hands, deadly. And another thing too that I noticed is that he goes to the body effectively with both hands, which is a beautiful thing. And I'll talk about that, a little bit more when I talk about Quintana. So overall, I think Berto is a very, very good fighter. Again, one concern of mine is that he goes in this autopilot, and that can make fights a lot longer than they should. I think the fight against Collazo, Berto should have fought with his head a little bit more instead of try to beat Collazo with his fists, and he got lucky. I think, to be quite honest, that he got the decision. All right, so let's talk about Carlos Quintana. Saw a couple of fights with him. The first fight I saw was against Paul Williams, and of course he won that fight, by decision. And Carlos Quintana, he's just another very passionate fighter. Same thing. He's very tall, very long, which concerns me about this matchup with Berto. Because to be honest with you, I think Quintana can give Berto some problems, especially if Berto starts doing this this autopilot stuff. I don't think he should go into a brawl against Quintana, because Quintana can really hold his own, and he could also fight, and he's very long, and he's got a very good power punch as well. Of course, Quintana is also a southpaw, which southpaws like Collazo gave Berto some problems. So overall, I think this matchup should be fair, not an easy fight for Berto, but I think if Berto uses his head and shows some ring generalship, I think he could outsmart Quintana. One thing, when Quintana fought Cotto, he folded up against Cotto's body punches. So I think that should be something that Berto should do. He should really exploit Quintana's body very, very early and establish this right away. Go to the body, punish the body early, opening up opportunities to for headshots, and that really should be his strategy. I honestly don't know if he's going to get an early round knockout. I don't think that's likely. My gut instinct is it's going to go to the latter rounds. My gut instinct, again, I think it's going to go to 12 rounds, and then the decision will go to Berto. I don't really see a knockout because, again, unless, of course, Berto really punishes the body early, just the way that Cotto did. But for some reason, I don't see that happening. I see, honestly, them going into kind of a slugfest, because that's what Berto's comfort level is. And he's going to be throwing bombs and haymakers, but I don't think it's really going to be do enough against Quintana and to knock him out decisively. So I'm not sure. So my gut instinct, 12 rounds, decision to Berto. All right, we'll see. We'll talk about it soon.